Welcome back to another tutorial. I'm doing a 3-stone ring today. Stay tuned. So I'm remaking a ring, which it was made partially by hand. They actually got a wax that was shot through a machine, but it didn't come out the way they wanted. It was not the right size of stone, so we're gonna remake it in CAD. If you can see in the background, I have some pictures. So if you have a great cell phone, I have a Samsung. I don't know if I can say brands, but I have a great phone that takes great pictures. Let's edit that out. Hopefully it doesn't get me in trouble and they take down this video. But I use my phone to take great pictures of what I'm gonna be using, and then I exported my computer and we're gonna place it in the background. So the first things you do, you check the finger size. If it's the same finger size or another one, make sure you check it with a mandrel. If not, you can measure the inside diameter of the ring. You can just grab this and measure it with your gauge. Let me turn it on. And I recommend you to measure this direction and then measure the other direction. Your calibrator, this is the calibrators I use. It's just, I like because the numbers are big and it's easier to see. So first thing I might do is get my finger size, change my layer to red. So 17.6, that's gonna be my finger size. So let's throw in the first picture, viewport layout, picture frame, and I'm gonna grab my first picture and throw it in the background. There it is. Try to grab somewhere that I can snap on anywhere. If you don't know what your snaps are, I'll do a video of how to set up your canvas. So try to snap in such a way that it will cover the finger size. So right now I have it there, and I'm gonna 2D scale it so it covers most of the finger size. Yes, no, I need to rotate just a little tiny bit in this direction, and maybe from the center. I think that's the center, right up. And there's my first picture. Ooh, that's pretty good, pretty close. Let's move on to the next picture. Let's use the top, and I'm gonna use this one, zero out. Well, I like to start from here. No, I use this wrong one. Top at 0, hold shift, and I'm gonna go here, press enter, 0, rotate in such a direction that is as straight as possible. And let's just make it bigger. Scale 2D, right from the middle, and I think it's around there. Okay, now let's go to the side. Picture frame, and more or less there it is. Let's grab like a center point. Let's say if it start from here, it's a good starting point. Control M to put all your 4 views. Let me take out the camera for a second. Those are my 4 views. And let's now try to center it around there. See, the ring's a little bit crooked. I don't think it's a picture. Usually I'm pretty good with my pictures, trying to center them as much as possible. And let's try to make it big. Okay. Let's put it up where it kind of matches the top around, whoopsie. Maybe around there. No, it's too much. See, I'm using my 4 views to, okay, that's pretty good. Now I can 2D scale exactly from here because I think it's touching there. And downwards until it kind of matches there. Grab your notebook and write all the information you can, from the stone sizes to every little detail of the ring. So now that you have all your pictures in the background, make sure you label them and you put it in a, um, in a layer that you can just name and put ring pictures. I just put pictures. Usually it's my last. And I'm going to put it in a color that I like. Let's do green. And I know those are my pictures. Another thing that I do is that I try to make the pictures a little bit transparent. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So you select all your pictures, okay, before you lock them. And you're going to go here to your object properties. You're going to click on material. Since you have them selected, the 4 pictures, it's going to give you all these options. Here where it says transparency, you can just drag this to maybe there. You see how it's changing them already? So now they're a little bit transparent and you can move it around, and as you design, it's easier to see. So now that I have my pictures set, they're a little bit transparent, I can lock that layer, and it's just simply as locking that layer. What tools I'm going to use? Okay, I'm going to use my favorite tool of the world, curve, interpolate points. I'm going to use arc. I'm going to create a couple of circles to give me dimensions. I'm going to create the center stone. I'm going to trace. Oh, we got to put the stones. We got to put the stones pictures. Well, I already have the center picture of the center stone, but we forgot to add 2 pictures, which is the stones, which I did take pictures. So I'm going to go to another layer and I'm going to throw them in there. So let's put 1 here. Let's do it per side. 1 here and 1 there. Okay. Let's speed run through the tracing of the ring and the stones. Okay. I'll see you right now. So it looks like I'm coming down to the last pieces to do for this 3 stone ring. It took me roughly about a good hour to think about how doing it. I took my time. I want to make sure that I took some of the measurements from this ring and I can translate it into the finished piece. So, some of the tools that I use, I don't know if you were able to. So, some of the tools that I use. So now that I'm coming to the last part of the ring where I'm going to create an STL and send it to print, I try to take as many measurements as I could from the actual ring. With that being said, I changed it a little bit with his measurements because I wanted it to look a little bit nicer, a little bit more delicate. In most jewelry, even if you're copying it, you want to make it look a little bit better, a little bit nicer. It's just the way to go about it. At least in my part, always make it look nicer. And then of course, send it to your client and let them have it approved, that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm gonna send it. They can prove it. We can send to print if they like it. Some of the tools that I use is just basically, lines, making an arc from the bottom, extrusions. If you see, I lay out my stones flat, then I make the extrusions down, and then I will taper them and I try to find a nice, beautiful angle. At least I'll find one side. If the other stone is longer, I'll try to copy that angle, mirror in the other side, and try to make sure that both look at the same kind of distance. One thing that they made very clear, they wanted the stones to touch at the top, at least the girdles, or the edges of the stones to touch at the top, which that's not usually the way that I would do them. I usually tuck the stones under the center stone, but for this particular model, that's how they want it. So I'm going to create a quick rendering. I'm going to send them to my client, and that's it. We send her to print. It's not that difficult, maybe just because I've done so many of these. It's the same process all the time. I lay everything flat. I'll start putting the angles of what I need. I love that tool from the Gumball. Control Shift, you select an edge or you select a surface and you're able to modify it at will. Another thing that I had to change is they want a certain specific thickness to the band, and the B prong, it was a little too small for it. So I was playing around with the B prong and the thickness of the ring, and the only way I can kind of translate the both is rounding this edge and just leaving it there. I think it's gonna look nice. Let's see what they think. Another thing that it was requested. I know that my setting and the stone don't match, but it's just for the look, because the real measurement is not the stone that I have there, but this table that I have there, and they wanted to be at the corners. If it was me, I'll open them a little bit more, but it would look a little bit ugly to have those prongs to be at the same level of the center, if it makes sense. So I'm gonna probably just move in a little bit. I'm just gonna do it right now. I'm gonna select them and just move them out just a little bit. Yes, so they can have enough leverage to bend them. I don't know what else to think about this piece. I think it's nice. It's good enough for printing. That's it for today, folks. So don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, leave a suggestion, and most of all, don't forget to hit that bell button so you can get notifications whenever I come out with new videos. So that's it for today. Peace out and happy designing. Take care. Bye. What's next? Oh yeah, I gotta go home. See my babies.